Everybody, Dr. Rob Silverman here. I'm with fitness enthusiast, holistic nutritionist, Jamie Maitland. I'm excited because I got to tell you, she's going to bring some energy and some A game to everybody. Jamie, how are you today? Thanks for coming on.
I'm great. How are you? Thank you for having me.
It's been my pleasure. We got to go over a few things, and you were talking about your office health, and I want you to clearly define it, but you said something that was great. I've heard it a few times.
Yeah.
Number one, if you exercise an hour a day, what in God's name do you do the other 23 hours? And here's your setup for your office health.
Yes. So the office health was honestly developed in a way out of necessity, right? So I own a very unique group fitness studio in East Fort Lauderdale, and I've had it since 2019. It's going great. And then, COVID happened in my mind. I'm like, God, like what are just not even COVID, just in general, like what are people doing the other 23 hours that they leave me?
Mm.
And, I feel like health and wellness can be a little bit of an overwhelming topic for people sometimes. And obviously we just met, but I have a very particular way of coaching and connecting with people. And I would say it's my gift, if you will. And I just have a very, like I said, particular way of connecting with people and health and wellness. If I can diffuse that for them and show them a way to like make it not be so chaotic and overwhelming, it's great. So the office health, again, was basically developed out of necessity. And at the moment, it has a bunch of awesome products. We have grass-fed whey, grass-finished protein. We have several vitamins that I think are essential. I'm not interested in having a bunch of gimmicky products that people don't know what they are or what they do. I'm interested in educating people. And again, kind of being just like a clear space for people to understand health and wellness a little better and know why they should be taking certain things or why certain doctors suggest certain supplements to take and to understand what they do.
Mm. So that office health, that's
Yes.
basically, I think it's a certain amount of people, a
So
certain
the office,
time.
I think, yeah. So the office is my gym. The office health is my health and wellness company. And I think I gave you a little bit of the background. So my parents have owned this building since the 90s,
Mm.
and it was always their office. That's why we kept the name. So the gym is the office 954. And then the office health, we just wanted to keep the name because it's almost like, why is it called the office? Like I almost want people to ask me, like, why did you choose that name? Because it has a special meaning to me. And I actually been asked why the unicorn. And I grew up riding horses. I was obsessed with My Little Ponies as a little girl. And why not the unicorn?
Okay, I like it. So what drove you into fitness? I mean, there's always a why, and it's a
Yes.
dramatic thing that occurred in an individual's life, a friend, a family's life.
Yeah. So, well, honestly, I've always been into fitness. High school, I played soccer. I played all the sports. I would say like probably in like 2008-ish, my cousin and I at the time were going to spin a lot, flywheel, Soul Cycle flywheel, really popular. So we were spinning quite a bit. And I remember saying to her, like, God, like we could make this in Fort Lauderdale, it could be so much cooler. So that kind of really got me into fitness, just being able to, I guess, like hone in on the idea that like I could create my own fitness space, which was something that never really crossed my mind. And I don't know why, it just didn't. But I guess I fell in love with more the idea of being able to create a concept around fitness because fitness was something that I loved to do. And, they say like, if you love what you do, you don't work a day. And I was in my mind, I was like, I would love to be a fitness trainer. Hell yeah. So it just kind of snowballed. And in 2015, we opened our first spin studio. And
Great.
2017, I sold my first fitness studio and then we opened another one and it's just kind of snowballed. And then again, to answer your question with the office health, it just kind of organically fell into that because it just seemed like the next step, but getting into fitness, that was kind of my crescendo into fitness and then into health and wellness.
So Soul Cycle,
Yes.
cycling. I saw some of your videos on Instagram. You're really going at it. Do not get me on the bike and make me do what you do.
Come on. Come on.
I'm gonna have to pass. That was a little rough, it looked like. Why cycling? And is it power? Is it aerobic? What energy systems? What am I benefiting from getting on that bike and blasting the music and doing?
Well, there are so many different dimensions of spin. First things first, and this might sound like a silly answer, but I love riding horses. So for me, it was like getting on something to ride. It like kind of made me think of the horse again. But spin can be so many things. First of all, the bike in general can be a low impact workout. It doesn't need to be like nutty, crazy, like rah, soul cycle, yell in your face kind of thing. It can be a calming, like recovery, amazing cardio. I'll never forget the first time I actually started coaching, right? Because you have to talk on the microphone. I had to lift the microphone up because I was dying. I was like, oh my God, I forgot I had to like coach and ride at the same time. And my style of coaching, I always stayed on the bike. But anyways, to answer your question, it's cardio, right? Your heart, like if that stops beating, that's not a good thing. So you need to exercise that just like you do your muscles. And again, just making the connection for people watching, cardio is strength training for your heart and lungs. Look at it like that. You know what I mean? When you have to say, get your cardio in, like it would be in your best interest to keep your strength and your heart in shape. Very
Well,
important.
the way I look at it with the cycling, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
Obviously, the cycling is going to help with VO2 max.
absolutely.
Grip strength, right? You're holding on real tight.
All of it, but also too, like finding the finesse and light on the grip sometimes and use your obliques and sit back on your hips, mind to muscle. I'm a Pilates instructor as well. So mind to muscle is a very challenging thing to talk people through, especially in a chaotic environment when I'm screaming at you and you got music playing. But spin is just, in my opinion, such a different style of coaching because there are times where I'll play like a slow jam or I'll play a slow rock and roll song and I'm like talking you through, all the things. And it's just a very interesting workout when you have the right instructor.
Well, without question, you're the right instructor. So we could make the case that spin, with all its positives, could be one of the key longevity type exercises to partake in. Because I know your
I
clientele is 40 to 60.
Yeah, I do. I think it's a very like, I mean, I don't want to speak for everybody. A lot of people are like, hell no to spin. But I mean, I think it's one of the more universal workouts, right? Mostly everybody can sit on a stationary bike. I'm not saying it's going to be the most comfortable for your butt, but at least mostly everybody can do that. Not everybody can go take a bar class. That is next level, in my opinion.
Now, remember, I was telling you I don't want to go to zone one in spin, maybe a little bit, but I
Mhm.
can zone two in spin. Am I correct? You can get me there?
It depends if you're willing to work, but for sure, I think I can motivate you to do anything, but you got to give me the chance.
Excellent, excellent. So I know you do an exercise regimen. Everybody's going to ask now,
Yeah.
what do you do? What do
Oh
you
my
do
gosh.
every day?
I If you haven't noticed by now, my style is multidimensional, no boxes, no algorithm. I like to switch it up and do everything. But to answer your question, I do strength train at least 3 times a week, sometimes 4. I do have my trainer, he's amazing. And I also work out at my studio when I can get into classes. We're only 12 spots, so sometimes it's a little challenging. I rollerblade a ton, almost like every other day for sure. I do ride horses once in a while. I jog. I wish I could say I'm a runner. I am not. God bless my boyfriend. He runs all the miles. I can't do it. Running is like respect. It is so hard. Sometimes I'll do sprints on the treadmill. Sometimes I'll do Stairmaster. And honestly, I'm a huge believer in micro workouts. I'll be on my closet floor doing like donkey kicks and band workouts like in my sports bra and underwear. It's just what I like to do sometimes. So a little
New
bit of
data just came out about the micro breaks and the micro exercise.
everything.
And if you have the time or you're determined like you are, it has been stated that if you can do that 3 to 5 times a day, it's better than working out for like, say, 60 minutes continuous.
It's just if a silly example, think about a little ant, right? One by one, they put the thing, and then all of a sudden it's like a castle. So it's like you stick with something and you do it a little bit consistently, right? That magic word that everybody hears it, but it's like, does it really absorb? You know what I mean? But yes, you're not wrong about that. I'm a huge believer in micro workouts, and it's actually in the 21-day reset book.
Which we're going to get into. I'm
Yeah.
excited about that because you offered me a copy. I saw some recipes.
Yes.
Dessert guy, as long as it's sweet, it's good. But
Mhm.
speaking of that, I'm going to dial you down just one notch and I'm going to get you to what drove you into being a holistic nutritionist?
Well, to get back to the question about how did I get into fitness? So it went fitness, then I stumbled into, a spin studio, sold that, opened my own. And then what got me into wanting to be a holistic nutritionist, obviously the credentials, right? People are like, is she certified? Like, I wanted that for my clients. And I wanted to know what I was talking about. I mean, I'm, I'm the type of person that will research on my own. I mean, I will be on YouTube Academy at like 3 a.m. sometimes just because I like to learn. I do. And I like to learn about what I'm interested in. But again, I wanted the credentials, and I had heard of IIN, which is the nutrition school that I graduated from. They're a very prestigious school. And it was honestly mostly videos that they put up, and it's just, I'm a video kinesthetic kind of learner. So that I just vibed with them, and I was like, let's do that. Let me pull the trigger. Let me get my health coach certification. I even furthered it, got their advanced gut health certification, which was very interesting. And like I said, I wanted to know what I was talking about. So that kind of led me to further my education in a more professional manner. And it honestly hasn't stopped. So it was the next step for me to answer your question.
Let's talk about gut health. I believe that the gut is the epicenter of your health. It's where your
I agree.
micronutrients are absorbed. Without good gut health, you have no health.
Do not.
So, what drove you to the gut, and what are you doing for it right now?
Well, what drove me to the gut, remember I told you, like, I'm the type of person that like to look under the hood and get to the bottom of things. With everything, and even with my approach to coaching, I like to get to the source of the problem or the source of the issue. Like, where is the disconnect? I would say about 98, 99% of the time, people that come to me with any autoimmune or any issues, it's gut related, right? The gut brain axis. Your gut is your epicenter, like you said, of everything. It is your mecca. Your little gut buddies are what is basically controlling all of this. And with that being said, I wanted to educate myself on gut health, but at the same time, be able to break it down Barney style for people that do not know what we're even talking about, right? Like mitochondria. That is a challenging word to even break down for the average Joe. They don't want to really learn about it. It's hard to explain. So I was trying to develop a way to, like, again, just break it down easily for my clients. And what I'm doing for my gut health is essentially feeding your good gut bacteria, right? We want to not be in dysbiosis. We want to be balanced. And listen, at the end of the day, the body knows what to do. It wants to be neutral and get back to homeostasis. We just have to give it the right environment to thrive.
No question.
So I do a lot of bone broth, huge believer in
Mm.
bone broth, huge believer in fasting, but for the right reasons. And again, I like to educate my people on that because that's another buzzy topic. Um,
Oh.
Fermented foods, homemade fermented foods, which are easy to do. And I know it sounds cliche, but to the best of my ability, I really try and limit and eliminate sugar or swap it for allulose. It's something that I feel like people have heard, again, just like the word consistency. I don't think they fully understand how much damage sugar can do to your gut microbiome. It quite literally feeds your bad gut bacteria.
Right.
It is unintelligent to consume high amounts of sugar.
I
And,
concur. The average American consumes 160 pounds of sugar per year.
and Dr. Silverman, I love me a cookie. I do. I get it. I get the
Per
struggle,
year.
people, but it's not good.
No,
And there's a
yeah.
reason every company puts it in their products, whether it's coconut sugar, dextrose, all of it. I'm coming for
Whoa.
your coconut sugar. I am.
I'm into coconut sugar, and now you really, you lit my fire because you talked about them putting ingredients in. So we can go down that Pandora's box of ultra processed food.
Mhm.
I'm going to be good. I love what you said. The gut is your mecca. I wrote it down. It's
It
great.
is
I'm
your
stealing
mecca.
it. I'm
Yes.
grabbing your
Like,
rights.
I like put my hand on my stomach and my heart every day and like they're a part of you. They are you. You know what I mean?
There
We
you
are
go.
not the external. It's society shapes our brains so much. And you got to get more inward.
You know what you just did? You just showed there's a gut to heart connection. There's a gut to brain connection. I know we're going to go
Correct.
into. There's a gut to joint connection, a gut to lung connection, a gut to skin connection. There's a gut to everywhere connection.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Your body's all interconnected. Memo to everybody listening. It's just the bullseye, we believe, is the gut.
Yep.
Now, you mentioned allulose. I use allulose. It's a rare sugar. I
Mhm.
think I noticed that it was in virtually every one of your recipes in your book.
Yes, it's in mostly all of them, a lot of salad dressings. And for those of you that have no idea what allulose is they call it a rare sugar in nature. It's usually derived from either figs, jackfruit, corn sometimes. And I don't even remember how. I want to say it was discovered in Japan, if I'm not wrong, but don't quote me on that. But anyways, it's a rare sugar in nature that does not spike your insulin. Your body cannot metabolize allulose, so essentially you pee it out. I actually watched a YouTube video of a gentleman that had diabetes. He drank a half cup of allulose, had
Mm.
his blood sugar monitor, nothing, nothing. It was crazy. I mean, I'd never seen that before. And not to mention, if we're talking like, okay, Jamie, does it taste good? Yes. And this might sound silly, but a lot of my clients, like, they hate monk fruit. They're like, it tastes like battery acid. It has a weird aftertaste. I don't know what battery acid tastes like, but I get where they're going with it. Like for me, I don't love stevia. But allulose has the same, like if you put your finger in allulose and taste it to sugar, it's the same. It's wild. So huge lover of allulose. Thank you, RX Sugar, for making a great product. And Dan. And I actually, again, me looking under the hood and asking a million questions, I asked him, I was like, are you guys ever maybe going to source an like allulose that doesn't maybe come from corn, even though they get non-GMO organic, which thank you for quality. But they said that they're looking into maybe sourcing it elsewhere, either figs or jackfruit, which is
Mm.
very cool. Just that they're even going above and beyond to like maybe go to Thailand and fly there. Like I love companies like that. I like aim to be that for the office health. Like I visited multiple farms. Like know where your products come from.
Great point. I mean, RX sugar, allulose, double thumbs up, one for
Yeah.
RX, one for allulose. But great point. Know where your products come from. Know where your ingredients come from. Know what binders, because they have to put something in there. People say, hey, Jamie, hey, Rob, I can get what you have, and it's 10%
Cheaper.
cheaper. It's 20% cheaper. Not including that you get URI.
Yeah.
And like, the most expensive vitamin you ever purchased? The one that doesn't work.
Exactly. Even like, with again, back to the office health, I had to create this because certain things just don't exist. Like even magnesium, for example, which is a supplement that I sell at the office health. There's like over 20 different types of magnesium, first of all. It depends what you're going for, but the main thing that I wanted from my supplements was the quality and absorption, right? You can get good quality, but is your body absorbing it? So the magnesium we have is, I'm sure you've heard of it, magnesium L-threonate.
Mhm.
And there's a company called Magtein that basically has dedicated their entire company's life research to everything, to breaking the blood-brain barrier. So your brain is actually absorbing that particular magnesium. I mean, they literally had to vet me to say, yeah, you're allowed to use our product. They don't mess around. So just to give you a little insight of one, how much I care and how much my quality standard, my bar is very high.
Well,
It's good for the
magnesium
body.
L-threonate, great choice. Study by
Great.
MIT, 2016 study,
I saw that.
spoke about the ability with 2 grams, 1.5 to 2 grams of magnesium L-threonate, which its ability to efficiently pass the blood-brain barrier, which incidentally is very similar to the gut barrier, and
Exactly.
allow for synaptogenesis, allowing for brain neurogenesis,
Mhm.
allowing for magnesium to get in the brain and in the central nervous system. I
Mhm.
wholeheartedly concur with you. Magnesium L-threonate by Magtein is the choice to use for brain. And it's funny you
I,
bring up brain because I know you've coined a phrase.
yes,
Use your brain. That's a great idea. I think some people we see in the news should use it more,
I
myself
agree.
included. But why don't you expand upon that theme and how you get your clients and the people that work with you to use their brain?
It literally means what it says. Use your brain. And, my style of coaching is no BS. I tell things how they are. I I firmly believe with every bone in my body that our power to think is our highest functioning form. This is our ultimate muscle, tool, organ, whatever you want to call it. Like this drives this drives everything. And I think the more people learn how to utilize their brain as a super tool, the better off we will be. And just a deeper point, your life should be designed by times. And if you're not consciously aware of what you're doing and how you're living, you can't really blame things on anybody else other than yourself. Life is a DIY. And, again, just back to the office health, my whole brand is built around conscious living. Yes, I have products for sale and things like that, but it's more of like a multi-dimensional approach to health and wellness. And use your brain is literally stamped on the back of all of my products because I just think that It's your superpower and it's your tool, and you need to use your brain. You do. How are you going to get things done? How are you going to meal prep if you can't use your brain? Are you going to tell your body to, if you can't give your brain a command and follow through, that's a problem, because society will shape your life, and I can promise you they don't have your best interest in mind.
I love the fact you said use your brain, but you're also a holistic nutritionist that emphasizes the gut because, as well, the gut communicates with the brain communicates with the gut. Yep, you did it. It's
Vegas, or
bi-directional.
right down the middle. It's like your pipeline.
Yep, the super highway to health. Whatever you
Correct.
do to your brain, you do to your gut, but you do it in a millisecond.
It's insane. It's so
It,
fascinating.
it is crazy. So that begs the question.
Yes.
I know we're going through a ton of questions, and I love the rapid fire.
Mhm.
Question is, give me the 5 supplements that are essential that you believe that virtually everybody should take. Your 5, your fat 5.
Love this question. Okay. Vitamin C. And I'll give you just a quick brief down of both. Vitamin C, your bodies don't make vitamin C. Your body also needs vitamin C to synthesize collagen. So for those of you out there shoving collagen in your drink and all the bone broth, you need vitamin C to synthesize that, right?
Right.
Also, vitamin D3, K2, which I know is a little bit of a cliche one, but we need it. You need it for bone health. I want people to understand the importance of it. K2 will help put the calcium into the bone. So it's important to take K2 with your vitamin D3, magnesium, L3 and 8. I kind of want to like label this the king of supplements. I really do. It is responsible for over, I think, 800 something enzymatic processes in the body. And again, just to give you a little better perspective to your listeners, we've heard of electrolytes, right? Magnesium is an electrolyte. It's an ionic mineral that has a positive and negative charge that literally sends electricity throughout our body. It's responsible for our heart beating, our muscles contracting. Magnesium is vital, and our bodies don't make magnesium, just FYI. Liver, I'm a big believer in a liver organ complex because I think that it eliminates you having to buy like vitamin E, vitamin A, vitamin K. Like, it's almost like you're multivitamin, right? I think liver and organ meat in general is super nutritious, as people, for the most part, know. I personally do like liver, but I don't eat it every day. So for me, supplementing is just a more convenient way to know that I'm getting those micronutrients in my body and those essential vitamins. And lastly, omegas.
Mm.
I prefer krill over fish oil. Krill has choline, high amounts of choline, which is an essential nutrient for our body. Our brain needs it. Our nervous system needs it. Fish oil does not have choline. Krill oil also has astaxanthin, which is a very potent antioxidant. And I don't want to just keep spewing out buzzwords without people understanding. Antioxidants are essentially, they protect your cells, just to put it in a nutshell. So top 5 supplements: krill, vitamin C, magnesium, vitamin D3, K2, and I really am a big believer in the liver organ complex. Those are like my essential top 5. Everything else, get your blood work done, go down that rabbit hole if you want, but like absolute no negotiations. Those are my top 5.
I love your 5. Couple of things. Magnesium is the miracle mineral. I had somebody on.
I love that.
Yeah, I called it for her. Dr. Barb, you can go back, check the podcast. Great job. You should get in contact with her. That's all she talks about is magnesium. And yet every day she's got information. And it is over 800 enzymatic reactions. Unbelievable. Number 2, choline. Love that you mentioned choline also in egg yolk. Choline
Yes.
is critical for the brain, especially in Alzheimer's, because it switches inflammatory debris or overeating debris eating microglial cells, and it switches them from M1 to M2. So it's basically taking you from an inflammatory state in your brain to an anti-inflammatory state in your brain. And astaxanthin, glutathione, the master antioxidant, if it's absorbed,
Yes.
astaxanthin is maybe the hidden master antioxidant because it is absorbed. It's that color in shrimp and salmon. And I don't hear people talking about it enough. I'm happy you gave it its due note. That said, I want to get into shape. You gave me my Fab
Gotcha.
Five.
I got you.
Yeah, I'm going like this. I'm going like this. I'm getting nervous. I'm getting nervous here.
Oh, no.
I want to get into shape.
Yes,
What do you
sir.
recommend? You know, I got to do
21-day reset. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm
Well,
getting there.
I know. First of all, if you wanted to get in shape, I have a couple questions. One,
Okay.
home life like? I need to get into your psychology before we can get into shape. Like, what is your
I want to
day?
get into better shape. How's that
I
sound?
got
Because
you.
that'll imply that my wife is
Honestly,
going to do a
a
great meal planning.
couple quick things. I don't like the word food journal, but you have to have the awareness of what is going into your body to contribute to you not being in shape at the moment. Another thing, the timing that you're eating these certain foods, huge thing, which I think is very underrated that people don't consider. And lastly, I'm not a macro counter. I don't like math, and not that there's not merit behind that, but you do have to have a basic common sense behind macros. Like we're not doing rice and sweet potatoes and a banana. Like we're not loading carbs at the wrong time either. So it's just getting a basic understanding of protein, carbs, fats, and how to balance those based off of what your goals are. It's no secret that we're gonna mostly eliminate sugar. And it's also no secret that I'm going to ask you to move your ass a little bit, whether, whatever type of workout that may be to you. You might have a super busy schedule and we might need to get some micro workouts in at your studio. I don't know. But it's just, it's also to, making and setting those boundaries of if we're serious, right? It's going to feel a little uncomfortable and you got to move different if you want different. And it's just shifting that paradigm and creating a new way of moving and thinking if you would like something different.
Great. So I love what you said about the macros because there's some people out there who will remain nameless, like Lane Norton, who I think is wonderful, but he's
Yes.
like, oh, you got to count your macros. You got to count your
Correct.
macros.
I don't
And
want to do that.
but I love what you said. Yeah, they matter. I don't know if I'd count them. Obviously, if it's 10,000 calories, Rob, that's too much. You're not Michael Phelps. And
Common
if it's
sense.
500 calories, you can't use your brain because you need energy to use your brain.
Exactly.
However, after getting a approximation of the right amount, you really made a point that I've never heard anybody make. In the macros, is it rice? Is it sweet potatoes? Is it ravioli too? I mean, where are we going? So they should be broken up because remember, carbs and fat, any way you break it down, are still fuel.
Correct.
So it's maybe the ratio, maybe not the amount, but where they come from. Because you said check, check where your ingredients
Yeah,
come
I mean, exactly. Not all carbs are
from.
created equal. I mean, you
Not
put
all
rice
food
in a
is equal.
yeah, you put rice in a microwave, all of a sudden it's a resistant starch. So it's the little things without overcomplicating people's brains here. But to the average person that is looking to lose weight and get in shape, know what you're eating. Common sense, like write it down if you have to. Move your ass, eliminate sugar to the best of your ability, and be mindful of the timing that you're eating. Certain things like if you live a normal like 9 to 5 kind of life, like stop eating after 8 o'clock. You do not need the energy. You're about to go to bed. What are we doing here?
So you're talking about intermittent fasting or time restrictive eating. Maybe don't eat the first hour you wake up, trying to eat 3 hours before you go to sleep, eat in a smaller window,
Mhm.
right?
Yes, and for somebody that is just starting out, I really baby step it for them. Like that might be my one rule for them for the first day. You're not eating after 8 p.m. Let's start with that. See if you can give your brain that command, and we'll build on from that. It depends on
So
who I'm dealing with, though.
you don't have to answer this to appease me. Where are you on gluten? Where are you on dairy?
No,
And
I love this question. I know we'll get to it, but in my 21-day reset book and in the program that I host, so I do like dairy. With that being said, dairy is meant to grow a baby cow. I don't really want to grow anymore. I do love me cheese and I do love ice cream, but I just don't add it into my diet a lot. I think people that do the carnivore, like that's their prerogative. Everybody has their different beliefs. I am not labeled anything. I wouldn't say I'm keto, I'm not carnivore, I'm Jamie. Okay. But dairy, I think it depends on the quality. Know your farmer, know where it comes from. Like I go to my farmer's market if I am doing dairy. I get raw A2 milk. There's different proteins in certain milks. Majority of people are lactose intolerant. If dairy doesn't make you feel good, stop eating it. That's not normal. And as far as gluten goes, again, I think it's a little bit of a buzzword. And I almost like I'm this close to doing my own like reel on the street and asking 10 strangers, what's gluten? Like they've heard of it, but they don't know what it is, right? So gluten are sticky proteins that plants produce, just like lectins, right? It's the plant's defense mechanism. So to answer your question, I do my best to stay away from gluten, lectins, most plant anti-nutrients, like even oxalates in spinach. I blanch my spinach without scaring your people. But it's a big, belief system in the carnivore diet, why these carnivores, stay away from plants. I don't think we should stay away from plants. I don't think we're carnivores. I think we're omnivores. I just think that we need to be educated that plants are in the animal kingdom and they don't want to be eaten. So you need to diffuse them. But dairy, good quality dairy, I'm okay with in moderation. If it doesn't make you feel good, don't eat it. Gluten, it would be in your best interest to stay away or learn how to minimize and reduce the gluten or lectin content, because not to go down a rabbit hole, but have you heard of zonulin?
Yeah.
Okay. So zonulin is a protein that our body produces, and it opens and closes the lining of the gut. So getting back to gut health, when you have giant openings in the lining of your gut barrier, it's not a good thing. And gluten and lectins raise your levels of zonulin.
That
Everybody's
is
different.
correct. As well
Everybody.
as adverse bacteria. And zonulin increases the release of occludin, which damages those junctions, which are tight junctions. You
Yes.
are spot on.
Important. And, the lining of your gut is what's holding everything in. And if you have things seeping out of your gut, that's low grade inflammation. That's a recipe for autoimmune. Not all the time, but it's not good.
Without question, can cascade to that. Outstanding. I love it. I love it. Been talking about gut for 15 years, and to hear the diversity in the practitioners now who truly understand it and are sharing,
Yeah.
it's really heartwarming. But I got to ask you, because I
Yeah.
know you're chomping at the bit. Let's do it.
No, I mean, it's just, it all
This
leads back there.
why 21-day reset program. What is it? And take me through one day. What's Rob got to do in one day on this reset program?
So the 21-day reset program, the 21-day reset new way of thinking, is essentially, just to sum it up, it's 21 days of no dairy, no sugar, no alcohol, no lectins. You got to get your gallon of water in every day, and you got to move your ass, whatever that may be to you. So, and there are 3 24-hour fasts. Now, it sounds a little vague. It's a lot more detailed than that. But let's say Dr. Rob signs up for the reset. You, my friend, are going to get a personal phone call from me. We're going to be best friends. I literally connect with all of my clients. I only take like 35, 40 people at a time. And I literally call them one by one, because I like it. Is it a group setting, but I like the personal connection. So one, it just diffuses them to open up a little more. And I genuinely care. I want to know, I want to help. So we would have a phone call. You would kind of tell me what your concerns are. Like, why are you doing the reset? Are we looking to get in shape? Do you have gut issues? Do you feel good? Like, talk to me. So I would kind of break that down with you. And then once day one came about, or let me back up a little bit. Like 4 days prior to the actual date of the reset starting, I put everyone in a group chat on Instagram. Everyone in that group chat is doing the 21-day reset. So it's nice because not only do you have access to me one-on-one if you need it, but you're in a group of like-minded individuals, and camaraderie is a real thing. I'm definitely a lone wolf, but I do like group stuff. Like, I love group fitness. If I'm doing some type of food program, it's just nice to know that, like, if I'm doing a 24-hour fast on Monday and I'm not vibing with it, like, I have 30 other people that are doing the same thing. So day one, or 4 days prior, you'll be set up in the group chat. So everybody's kind of like getting to know everybody. Like, the group chat is very entertaining at times too, by the way. And it's also helpful. Like, if somebody's like, hey, like, what are you all meal prepping? What are you eating before the 24-hour fast on Monday? It's just a good space to share ideas, recipes, information. And, also I've had people, this is like their 8th reset. I've had a ton of people that just like to do it every season because I only host them 4 times a year. I do offer private resets, but that's if people want to do that. But day in the life, day one, you get group chat. Hey, everybody, happy day one, da, da, da. And you'll eat your breakfast, you'll eat your lunch. Then you start your 24-hour fast. So getting back to the timing of things, I set you up for success. You're basically just skipping dinner. The next day, you skip breakfast. And then before you know it, it's lunchtime. And then throughout the week, you'll be getting a set of emails that are, in my opinion, just connective emails. Like, for example, when we do the 24-hour fast, that night, you're going to get an email on fasting and what it's doing for your body. So not only do I suggest things that I think will benefit your health, I want you to understand the why. I feel like a lot of times coaches will just, give you buzzwords and tell you to do things, but they're not good at explaining why, and they're also not good at explaining why in a way that a normal person's brain that isn't in the field can understand. Not to mention, like, your brain might receive information different than Mary Lou. So it's also having that, I guess, psychology with people in a way too. But essentially the first week of the reset is pretty much me just holding you accountable. And then it just goes on to week 2 and week 3. But it's one of those things you have to just experience it. You know what I mean? But essentially it's 21 days of no dairy, no sugar, no lectins, get your workouts in, gallon of water, and you're getting a lot of informational emails along the way.
Almost like not just even a reset, almost like a full body detox, if you will.
Um, Kind of, but if I had to label it, it is a foundational program that sets the stage for a new way of thinking and living. My whole foundation is based off conscious living. This is not a diet. This is not a cleanse. It is 21 days of you coming with me so I can reset your mind into a new way of thinking so you don't walk backwards when you know how to run forward now. It's unintelligent to go backwards. We know what we're doing. So it's a matter of harnessing the awareness, using your brain. And are we doing new things or are we going back that way? What are we doing here? So it's kind of where the whole foundation of the program is set. Yes, it's fitness, it's food. We're going to learn things. But at the end of the day, it's to teach you how to live consciously and have the awareness. You know what I mean? And it's just very, rewarding to see the results that I've seen since 2020. It's awesome.
Give me some of your success stories.
Oh my gosh. I had my sister just walked in. I had this one girl and she had kind of a tough upbringing. I won't share too many details, but when I tell you, I mean, she wrote me this, like, I was in tears about it. She lost probably like 15 pounds. And that was like besides the fact. The letter she wrote me was like the biggest takeaway for her was just the mental shift that she had and the confidence that she gained from it. And not even again with the weight loss. It was just more that how empowered she felt being in her own body and like being in control of her mind. She's like, you have no idea. Like, I didn't know that I was in command and could be in command of everything. So just to be able to, like, again, give your brain that command and own your life and do what you actually want to do, whether it's uncomfortable, new, or whatever. It was just awesome to hear. I mean, I had another girl, she was almost like 300 pounds and just dramatic. I mean, mind you, it's 21 days. This isn't a 9-month, 6-month program. So just to even see the dramatic results that I have seen, and just for people's self-esteem and, self-empowerment to rise from just 21 days is just awesome. I mean, I've just had multiple people. I had one girl that had a really, really bad, autoimmune disease with that was gut related. And I mean, her symptoms dramatically subsided. And, over time, it's gotten dramatically night and day different. But for her to just feel good, right? Like her MO was just to feel good. Not, she doesn't care about the weight. She just wanted to be able to function in society and not have to like go to the bathroom every 2 seconds and worry. And like, I don't know what life is like.
Without question. Now, you just did your first book.
Yes.
Correct. The 21-day reset cookbook.
Yes.
And you're sending me a copy, you promised.
I am. I'm so excited for you to read it. I feel like you'll like take it to heart.
I'll read it. I'll write a testimonial. I'm excited, especially since there's some nice little desserts in there that I'm really excited.
There are. Yes.
21-day reset cookbook.
Correct. So the reset cookbook, it's essentially meant to serve as a teaser for the 21-day reset program. So it gives you like a little glimpse of what to expect. It tells you the why behind certain things, like, okay, why no dairy? Why no sugar? Why am I fasting? Gives you a little teaser. It also provides a little teaser of a yes and no list. And then obviously like over 100 recipes of what you can eat on the reset, which is nice because a lot of people, they get those mental blocks for whatever reason. It's like, what am I eating? I have a whole book to tell you what you're eating. But yeah, the cookbook's amazing. It took me like over a year to write. It's definitely a labor of love, but it has some success stories in there, and it has several photos of before and after photos. So for those of you that weight loss is your goal, you'll be able to see. And it just gives you an inside look to my brain of how I came up with it and really the psychology behind it. And it's a very, in my opinion, useful tool, whether you're doing a reset or not. But yes, there are several amazing recipes, a lot of good dessert recipes that are reset approved, and everything in this book you can have on the reset, which is nice. Because there's a lot of options.
And that's on Amazon, of course.
Well, we are getting there. I wish I could say, of course, we're getting there. But you can order it on theofficehealth.com.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
So let me ask you something.
Yes, sir.
If health is wealth, what are the three things? My buddy, I told you about him. He wants three digestible, tangible things at the end of every podcast that he can do and he can implement right away. What are you going to give him?
You're saying just health and wellness related?
Anything goes. Just he needs three things.
Use your brain. Use your brain. Eliminate sugar. Eliminate sugar to the best of your ability.
Okay.
And I'm going to leave it with this rather than being so vague. I'm going to give you something specific. Be mindful of the timing you're eating certain foods. I think that's a very underrated thing. I have so many more to say, but we'll leave it at those three. Use your brain.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, just to kind of recap, use your brain, eliminate sugar to the best of your ability. It is an anti-nutrient, and be mindful of the timing that you're eating certain foods.
If I made you the health president of the United States,
yes,
you would be the first female health president.
I love this question.
What is the first thing you're going to stop with the people in school and the adults?
Sugar. Sugar. We're going to replace that with RX sugar.
All right.
I mean, similar with the adults, but yeah, that's a good question. Definitely sugar with the kids and the food. I would literally dramatically change the cafeteria immediately because I think food is information. And I think what these kids and even adults really are eating is affecting everything, their mood, their energy, all of that. So I would completely hijack the cafeteria. I mean, similar to the parents or adults, I would say, but I don't know if this is like a vague answer, but create some type of system in place to bring everybody back to the awareness. And again, I really want to drive home the conscious living for people. Like that is a mission statement. And it's like, how do you teach that? You know what I mean? It's by bringing things to their attention.
Education. I think that, we need more people out there like you on this health platform to really share about education. We almost forgot something I do all the time. Yeah. Fun facts. We got that 60-second, Jeopardy, rundown, double Jeopardy and everything like that. So let's do fun facts. Intermittent fasting. You ready? Intermittent fasting. Yes or no?
Yes. Hell yes.
Gluten, dairy, yes or no?
Gluten, no. Quality dairy. So I'm iffy on dairy.
And lectins.
Lectins.
Carbs.
Learn to diffuse them though. It's like a question. Bars is
carbs.
Carbs depends on the carb.
Okay, fruit.
Depends on the fruit, but I'm with fruit. Fruit's sugar.
Okay, yeah.
Eat in moderation, eat in season. Don't overdo it. Berries. I'm not saying fruit's bad for you, but fruit is sugar. Sugar is an anti-nutrient. I don't care if it's organic or not. There's no such thing as healthy sugar.
Wild fish.
Hell yeah.
All right. Best kind of egg to get.
Ooh, ideally a pasture-raised organic corn and soy-free egg if you can.
Are you good with grass-fed beef?
Very much so. Just make sure it's grass finished as well. Don't be sold on the buzzword grass-fed because it could be grain finished.
Big point. Lastly, spinning, yes or no?
Hell yeah. Spinning's amazing. All the dopamine.
Excellent. Listen, you've been great. You definitely lit up the screen. I appreciate all the energy, and I look forward to having you come back again. I'll be watching your career. It's been my pleasure, everybody. Jamie Maitland. My name is Dr. Rob Silverman. Always yours in health.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure.